Another day. Hi, you all. Welcome to this edition of Hanging Out with Temi again. Professor Mimi, it looks like you've just come through the door, but you look good. You look like
Thank
a
you.
sweet 16.
I think I should be. I am.
I mean,
I keep active and
you,
fit. It's a public
you've got
holiday,
you've
so
got the body for it, so enjoy.
thank you.
But really,
Thank
it's
you.
good to be here. I'm looking forward to tonight, and I hope everyone else also is looking forward to tonight. Uh, Thank you for tuning in again. Last week we talked about the married, unmarried, and tonight we're planning on shining some light into how we might be able to live it better and to be more fulfilled and more valuable in our relationship. But Prof, tell me, how did you go out today? It's public holiday today.
Absolutely.
University don't have holiday, isn't it?
So, today we recognize this. We don't recognize all the holidays. Not that we don't recognize, we tend to just have uh, time later on in the year over the Christmas period sometimes. But like things like Labor Day, most often than not, the university is still officially open. But there are key dates like this, Anzac Day, yes, we observe and we are part of the public holiday. So I had other engagements. It was a good day and I'm here.
Such a good day, very relaxing for me. Relaxing, absolutely. I really, really enjoy today. I had dinner with my friend last night, and the husband gave me this beautiful. It's been a long time that people give me dinner. So
Yeah.
I really appreciated that dinner. It's like, oh, this is actually, it feels good. I like to give people dinner, but I don't get dinner. They call me for
Well,
dinner, but I don't have time. So it's not people's problem, it's my problem that I
so we
don't
need to
love
make
to.
time for those catch ups, and the ladies need to make time for themselves. And this is so, so vital. You need to
Very
have the
good.
time where you look after yourself, that self care. And for people who know me, I swim every week in one way or the other. I have to fit that into my schedule. And yeah, but you need to exercise. You need to make that you time. You need to make that time to sit and read and just kick back. And today was public holiday, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get out and catch up with myself and do a few other things, and that's what I did. So it was good.
It was so good. I feel so good. I'm grateful, really grateful to God. So yeah, I was gonna ask, are you traveling in August? Did you say you were traveling? Didn't you say?
Um, let's not say it on the show. Let me not put my schedule out there in public.
No, no, for my
Offline.
birthday, I was gonna
But I know
say.
you've got something special, whatever. So I don't know what I should talk about it if you've made it official yet.
No, I want to talk about. That's what I'm thinking. I want to talk about my birthday, my book launch, and also the maternity hospital that is being completed. I want to talk about it. It's mind blowing. I sent invitation to a couple of people, and they're like, so the way they buying the ticket, I'm like, oh, I thought you're even going to wait a little, but they're already buying the ticket. It's unbelievable. It's a closed and private event, and also there's a ticket to be sought from the link. If I send a link to you, there's a ticket there
Please.
before you could get into mansion. It's not a lot of money, and mansion is 2,500 for 2 nights, like that. So it's not a cheap place, but they've given us this privilege, like, unbelievable. Can't believe it. So it's $65. You have to get the ticket. So click on my picture or the book. It will take you to the ticket. So please get it. And it's going to close when it's going to close, because this is a mansion. This is a heritage building. This is our best infrastructure in Wyndham. So we respect that little place so much. And they don't take, if things are closed, they closed. Just what I'm trying to say. I have no control over that.
First of
But
all, congratulations. And yeah, that, you've written this wonderful book. When I saw the link, I was very, very excited. And of course, I quickly checked the dates and Yeah, whatever happens, congratulations. And I
Thank you.
just hope, and I'll encourage people to, buy the ticket. I've been to the mansion a few times in Werribee. It is an amazing space. And if you live far, they've got great accommodation as well,
Accommodation.
outside the good surroundings, and it's not far from the zoo. So, there are so many things that you can incorporate into your day and your time, or maybe the weekend over there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the lunch. But congratulations, putting pen to paper is never an easy thing. It takes time, it takes commitment, it takes focus, and when I see a woman and anybody take that time, sit, reflect, and write, you know, whatever happens, I'm going to try to be there.
I
And I will,
trust.
you
I
know that.
trust you. I have no problem. If
You-
it means to fly from Addis Ababa, I know. But thank you so very much. It's interesting you said put pen to paper because that was one of my line in the book, to put
oh,
pen to paper. That language was actually in the book. It was a
that's
big
interesting.
deal. I started to write it. I'm like, maybe I should stop here. Maybe I
Yeah.
shouldn't go further, because few people as name have to put people's name there. Like I did ask for some of the consent. Some of them did not respond, but it's my
Yeah.
story, so I have to put the pen to paper, and they can context it. There's also a plain sheet next to some of the points. So if you've got queries or questions to ask me, don't forget, you read that page, the chapter, write the questions down. It's a lot of opportunity, and I'm open to answer questions as it comes when you read the book. It's interesting. Very, very
I can't
interesting.
wait to read it because I know your journey is incredible. You're an incredible woman. You're an incredible pastor. You are an incredible professional. So, bringing that mix together, the intersectionality, the different spheres that make you, the variables, the factors that have shaped you, the journey. I am so looking forward to it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Me too. But yeah, thank you so much. That is it about me. Every week we're gonna be like what Professor Mimi said about accommodation. If you're coming for the book launch, you actually get like a 50-60% discount in the hotel accommodation. So we're gonna send the promo out and all as we go. But let's go to today's topic. I think we need to go on a quick break and we'll come back. It will be today's talk. We'll be back. Welcome back on the show. Yeah, I'm trying to. We probably need to do something about our video very shortly. We have to do something to revamp some stuff from there. Yeah. All right. Never mind. We are back. The married, unmarried women. I like the. It sounds like a slogan, like the rhythm of it. The married, unmarried women. I love it. It just capture my captivate my fancy, or what do you say? But this week, though, what we were going to talk about as we finished discussing, we debrief, and then we came to the point of don't just leave people aloof, don't leave people just hanging. What suggestion do we have? And we're talking to the people that have been there, done that. They're not just talking professionally, they know the know-how, personally the know-how. So these are the people that are schooled in this area, been there, done that, and successful in every faceted of it. So we're not just talking to you about things that we have not tried and tested. So when I was thinking about this, Prof. Mimi, like married, unmarried, they're two um, individual entities. It's either you are married or you are not married. Marriage is where you have counsel, that's where you have safety, that's where you have friendship, that's where you have love, where you have um, a lot of opportunity, and you're valued and you're cherished, and you're somebody, outside they might treat you like no one, especially where we live. On the street you could be driving and some people are walking. Sometimes I walk on the road and some naughty kid, they will toot and say go back to your country, or all sort of things that they say. But then I will see my husband, we talk about it and then we laugh. It will be like, do you want to go back to your country? I say, yeah, I want to go. And it's like, be realistic, you can't live there anymore, something like that. We laugh about it because there's a union. Vulnerability is there that we could talk about. So if you are now unmarried and you're married, Prof, I think, can you please share about with us?
I think all the things that you've described, that is what a lot of people wish and hope for when you discuss marriage. That is normally the perspective of most people, but that is not the reality of the majority, which is why in a place like Australia, we know that the divorce rate is about 40% and maybe
Mm.
higher in some
I,
pockets and in some communities.
mm,
And when it
yeah,
comes to second relationships, it's about 50%. And when
even
you look
more.
at these numbers in different countries, they can be as high as 70, 80%. And
Mm,
some, they're as low as 20%. And you're asking the question, why such disparities? The
mm,
reason there are disparities is because there are different structures in place, as in societal structures, but also how people look at these unions across the world has evolved as well. So I think this must be considered. And when we talk about such unions, and when you think about, again, for people, for the benefit of those who were not here last week, when we talk about the unmarried, married women, we are talking about women who find themselves in relationships, yet they carry all the responsibilities and all the burdens as if they were single. Hence,
right.
they termed married, unmarried. And in some quarters, when you find high flying, high achieving women, there is also a term they talk about men in skirts, because most
Mm,
often than not, there is also a significant cohort or percentage of those women who did not set out to seek and be in those spaces. However, by default, they're in those spaces. Hence, they're operating like men, and but then they're also expected to be treated as women. So there is this conflict internally, but also externally. And how do you manage that? So that just giving you context from where this discussion evolved from last week and where we
mm,
are going. And I think today is about solutions, support, structures in place, and how within these unions, I think, whether men or women, but here we're focusing on women,
yeah.
how they can get the support that they need from their partners.
Mm. I would say firstly, you said these are the things, those attributes, the values that I mentioned is what people expected.
Yeah,
But what I want to say firstly is actually honesty, to be
yeah,
honest with ourselves. And
yeah,
to be honest with, before you're honest with yourself, you have to really know yourself. You need to really know your value. I think
yeah,
most times we drop our values, we trivialize it, we
yeah,
soften it, we don't harness it, we don't uphold, we don't even carry it. And I know what I'm saying. This could easily happen to anyone and for the best of us
yeah,
if you are not properly schooled in. on how to really know yourself. So knowing yourself is, for me, I like disability, I like mental health, I like this. And I'll say I like this, then I'll go and do something else. So I might do something else because of the season that I'm in. For example, I might pick up another job because that job is readily available now and meeting my situation. But really, what I really like is mental health. You see, if I'm not careful, I could go on this journey doing those things that is just fetching me something, and I might forget about totally what my really value is. So this is what I mean when I say really know yourself. And what do I do by then? I write it down. I write those things that really, really reconcile with my soul. I'll write it down and I'll keep talking about it. I know my husband sometimes I'll say, he will come back and say, but do you know this? Those are the things that you really like. So what's stopping you from doing it? What stops you from doing it? You see, so it helped me to bring me back and say, even though this is helping me in that time, I really don't need to do that thing now. So it looks like, and I'm being practical about this. So it looks like I'm going to get a position, that they're going to give me a house, a car, job that seems impossible, even in my space. I will get those jobs, but and it's very hard for me to reject it. I want to take it, but if I take those jobs, it's going to take me on another tangent altogether. This time, I don't need to do that. I don't need it. Go
Yeah.
back to your value. So, this is what I mean by our people. Be honest with yourself. Really know what you value in life. Write it down. Share it with somebody. If you can't share it with your husband, share it with somebody. So, that I say that to say, if you know your value and you're living with somebody, quote and unquote, her husband, and he's not supporting your vision, he's not supporting your your life, then you know that this is not what you want. Come, you know, I know that every time I remember who reminded me, and on the day of my book, I mentioned few people that will always bring me back because I want to go, like, maybe I should do this for another 2 years. No, Timmy, you don't need that 2 years. Do this. This is what you really
Yeah.
want. And that's what satisfies my soul. So my first point is be honest, know who you are, really know your value, and write it down and share it with someone that you hold in an esteem.
I think
You,
that's fantastic, in terms of, a value system. Because if
mm,
you don't have your own value system, you'll be taken to any direction. But yes, you also need to be pragmatic. You need to
mhm,
be realistic in terms of your life situation, where you are and what stage you are. You need to look at your family context. What are the responsibilities that you have? What are the responsibilities that you share? And what are some of the things you need to think about building together? I think one of the biggest challenges is when one party does not want to build or refuses and doesn't tell you. And when you find out, it hurts. What do? Then people are there, but physically they're not present because they've emotionally left. And I think that is
yes,
one of the biggest issues that we have in the situations. People don't
and
get
I
up and
think,
leave in one day. It takes years, but they would have emotionally and psychologically left a long, long time before that. Then you turn around and say, oh, they just left. You knew that that was coming.
yeah,
They would
they
have, in
told you,
one way or the other,
they told
indicated.
you.
The body
Mm,
language would have indicated. Most often than not, the words and the actions would have also indicated. But if you refuse to act on that, because in a relationship, it takes two, whether it is a permanent, whether it is
mm,
for a short period of time or whatever, it takes two people. So you need to
mm,
really think about it and ask yourself. Unfortunately, and we did discuss this last week, I don't want to go back into it. There are still
mm.
situations where people are thinking about what other people are going to think,
Oh,
right? If you reach a certain stage in your life and you're so worried about what every other person is going to think, you've got a
Terrible.
serious problem. You really you need to graduate from that, all right? And
Mm,
focus and think about your purpose and your contribution, but what that the emotional toll that is taking on you, but everybody around you. Because
mm,
it is a journey that a lot of people unfortunately are going to get hurt. And you have to then sit down and make an agreement. Do you stay here together, or everybody moves on? And different people we live in a civilized world. We are an educated group of people these days as the world moves
mm,
on. So those are decisions that people need to be open and frank about. And these
mm.
discussions, they are tough discussions, yet people still refusing to have this discussion. So it's really important that you sit down and you think about this. Maybe there are things that you could not talk about 15, 20 years ago because you started a relationship, but then you're in another stage in your life. There are certain things that you need to talk about. And don't stay because of the children. I'm sorry to tell you this. The children are going to grow up, they're going to leave, they're going to have their own lives. And sometimes, even when they live with you, they're still going to have their own lives. So you have to make a decision, and you need to have things that keep you focused and keep you sane.
Yeah, let me pick up from where you stopped. By the people around you are suffering. You know, it breaks my heart when two people are fighting or they've got issues and they so focused on themselves and forget the other people, like the children. I just pray. Well, one of the things I'm going to say is, you think we're in this world and where you use one word, but we might be educated, but sometimes we are educated illiterate, married or unmarried. We are educated illiterate. We need to actually go to school. I'm saying school of knowledge, school of thought, school of connection. Connect with people that matters, not people on your level. You know, I connect with professors. I connect with learned people. I connect with cleaners. I connect with, so I can learn up and learn down and just have a robust experience and talk honestly with people. Just get civilized. I'm begging you, talk together. We might have so much disagreement, we might hate ourselves. Let's talk together as somebody who is civilized and say, how can we make this amicably? We've seen a lot of people in this part of the world we live and how they do their separation. Oh my gosh, these people are highly educated, highly civilized. They manage it so well. And the man can still come home and say hello to the kids, and the woman will still say hello to the man, as if we were not enemy at some stage. We actually married once. We were laughing once. We were holding each other once. So now we're fighting. But that does not negate the fact that one time we said we love you once, even once upon a time. So let us come and discuss how can we make this seamless so that the children don't have to suffer. That's what I'm going to beg.
I
Some
think
people are behaving so bad, like an animal. I'm sorry to say, I have to use the word like an animal. Don't forgetting that these children are your blood. As a mother, you carry these children for whatever month. They might cut your tummy to get them out. And as a father, you should be responsible to these children that you brought to life. How can we be amicable and don't make it a nasty situation? And that is
that's
why
a
people are
very
afraid to
sensitive, yeah, sensitive part, and a very sensitive one. And there are so many bits that I could speak from experience. But one of the narratives that I can tell you right now is that there is still the perception that people own the children and the mother and the woman. And when you have that as a mindset, that the children
Mhm.
are your belonging and the woman is your belonging,
Oh, that's your asset.
then
Yes.
you realize that they are not there for the good reason. And most often than not, you see it ends up in the family court, not because it's supposed to go there. It's most often than not a strategy to hurt the other party. And sad to say, these people, most often than not, it is a strategy to hold the woman back, to punish her, not because they want the children. They're not interested in those children. They're
Onisha.
interested in the woman. It takes two to be in a relationship, right? And people are like, oh, she's mine. I have done this and I have done that. Well, but if that other party says they don't want it, you have to respect those boundaries because they can do whatever they want to do with themselves, just as the other party, the male person, can also decide they don't want the relationship. You gave us a very good example last week, and you highlighted the case of a woman where, I don't know, it was on the show offshore, but the man has been very clear to her. she
Mhm.
he doesn't want her, but she
Mhm.
wants to be there. Can you imagine the trauma that she's going to live in if she forces to continue in that space in the next
Mhm.
10, 15, 20, 30 years, forever?
Mhm.
And this is
Mhm.
why people turn around and say, why is it that these people were together for 15 years or for 20 or 30 years and they've just broken up? It's because they were never together. They were living a lie for most of it. And they knew that.
Wow. Wow.
And you have to make your decision. Is that what you want to do? Or you want to be open about your choices, right? And then there is the whole thing where people are going to say, oh, they're going to call them a divorcee. Who cares? Call me one. I'm so successful because I became one.
Mhm. Say
And
that
that was the
again.
choice I made. And that was
Mhm.
hard for the other party. And I was only 24 years old
Mhm.
at the time. I was
Yeah.
young. And people thought, she doesn't know what she was doing. I knew what I was doing because I knew where the shoes hurt. And the
Mm.
evidence has come to light by itself. I've never said a word. I think this is probably, saying something in that direction because people reveal themselves. You don't have to say nothing.
It's
You will never
interesting.
You'll never
24
hear me
years
say
old.
somebody, yeah, I was a child, literally. Remember, I was a child, but I was 19. And I
Mm.
had my first daughter when I was 20, right? And I would have
So,
ended up
so
just racking children. And, because the strategy was hold her with children. If you want a beautiful, intelligent woman, but you can't stand them maintaining that, their parents did not educate them to come and be your cook or your or your cleaner,
cleaner.
right? Hire
Mm-hmm.
one.
I
Hire one.
want. And if he can't pay, you pay for it. Just let's I this is
I
what
think
I mean
it's
by understanding. Let's
absolute,
be
and I think
understanding.
it's fantastic when two people can contribute. I think it is a type of a sense of security, but also remember that the women have got purpose. Women have got their own ambitions, they've got desires. It's about bringing that together. And that most often than not is because not because this person is horrible or this one is horrible. It's just that there is that compatibility is not there because maybe they want different things in life. Maybe they're in different stages of their lives,
Hmm.
right? So that is why you need to think about it. You need to think about it. Somebody was telling me recently in the UK some of the challenges that people are having, and one of the biggest challenges was a lot of the men are leaving the UK. They're going to Africa and bringing the wives there. Then after about 5 years, sometimes shorter, 10 years, the woman comes, for some reason, they tend to go and look for a woman who is doing science or has done nursing or is on a pathway towards that, for that financial security. And then suddenly, when the woman leaves, I say a period of time. And in one of the situations, I actually asked the gentleman, what does this other guy do that he's complaining and all of that? And he said to me, oh, the guy is a driver. Nothing to do with drivers, right? But he went and he looked
Nothingness.
for a lady who had a bachelor's in science, had a degree, married her, right? And brought her to the UK. And the girl went on to become, I don't know whether she was a nurse practitioner or general nursing, but in the health space. And suddenly they don't have a conversation. Why? Because you want to discuss professionally with your partner. You want to, so he used to come back home, or he used to go back home when they were courting, but they never really spent time together. So they did not know each other. And that
Yeah.
is the challenge that we continuously have in the
Mm,
society. You're leaving
mm,
all these beautiful, educated girls in Australia because it's
mm.
like they're too smart, they're too this. You want to go and get a dumb girl where there's no dumb woman anywhere.
There's no dumb woman anywhere in the world. I haven't
There is
seen
none,
one.
right?
I'm,
People
I'm
are
yet to
there
see
because they
one.
want to be with you, you know,
Mm, mm,
because there is something special about you that makes them want to be there, right?
mm.
Mama Temi, you are there because you want to be where you are, not
Yeah.
because you have to. And when you find yourself in situations because you have to be there, then that is a problem. You have to
Mm,
always be there because this is what I want to do. That keeps you excited. That keeps you happy. You want to see that person. You want to be that person.
mm,
You always look forward to. Whether you live
mm,
in the same continent or you don't live in the same continent, it will not matter. Distance will not matter.
mm.
There are
It's true.
successful relationships where there is distance, tens and tens of thousands of kilometers. You know why?
Yeah.
Because the two parties absolutely, have a deep
Mm.
understanding, but also a deep connection with
A
each
deep
other.
connection.
It has to be deep.
Mm. It's a shame and it's really painful. And the connection, like you said, it's so deep and it's so sweet.
Yeah.
And there's safety there. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're
Safety is the
married,
word.
safety in everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, I remember in Nigeria when I started to drive, and I wasn't driving too well, but I'll drive to island and mainland, and
Yeah.
then I'll call to my husband. Looks like they're gonna hit my car. I don't want this little car. I need a big one so that my car could push them away as well. Some silly stuff. And he'll tell me, "Do you have enough money in your hand anyway? If you don't have enough money, because if they hit your car or you hit their car, just fix it and come home." So I
There you
go
go.
out with the confidence that anyway, I'll fix your car and we'll be right. There's no fighting. That safety, that assurance, it's
Yeah.
there. It's really painful. I think also we should talk about self-care, emotionally, mentally, financially, um, you know,
Financial
spirit,
care.
financial care, spiritual care. If we're not on the same, can two work together except they agree or they are lying together? We can't work together if we're in not in union. I think self-care, I think people should start to also define what self-care means to them, because this thing means so many things to many people. When you say self-care, walk around the park and just walk by the beach and meditate, what are you meditating on? So, think about what you're thinking about. You need to really arrest that thing and wait and say, what am I just thinking? It doesn't matter. Is this something of value? Just throw it if it's valueless. If it's something, my relationship, Lord. Also God factor. I always say God factor because different people, they have different type of God that they have. So I'm not
Yeah.
saying come to my God. I'm saying whoever your God is, you need to honor that your God.
I think
If
that
you
spirituality in you,
spirit,
right,
yeah,
is different to religion.
yeah,
It's about that spirituality. And
connection.
we have different types, from the African perspective, which I strongly believe in, strongly follow, strongly suggest. Our ancestors, 4 generations ago, even 3 generations, my grandparents did not have any English names on my father's side. I think my grandmother on my grandfather on my mother's side, they went and got themselves baptized and all. But before
We
that,
did, they did. True.
really,
Mm,
but they
mm,
don't. And but the connection that the
mm.
family still has and continues to have, that is
Oh,
because of that deep spirituality. But something that you talked about was the whole care, but beyond self care to also financial care. And when we're talking about financial care, it's about you taking care of your own financial needs, not dependence. Because people were thinking the first thing is, oh, financial care, the partner, if you're going to see your partner only as somebody who is supposed to be financially looking after you, that is unfair as well. That is unfair. You need to
Mm,
see yourself as somebody who is a contributor. And whatever they do, you appreciate it because they are enhancing something that is already there. They're
mm,
strengthening something that is already there, right? So,
mm,
and we're not talking about every woman must go out there and work. I'm one of those people who say, let's support the choices that women want. If the family unit decides and she is happy to stay at home and
mm.
look after the children, raise the family, etc., and all the other needs are met by the other party,
Yes.
absolutely support her. I don't want to be in a world where there is almost this urgency that every woman must get out in the morning, get through the door, and go and do this and go and do this. And this
Yeah.
is where, when you have the discussions about your relationship, you also have to think about it in terms of, does the other party share the same values on as you, in terms
Hmm.
of they are going to be the provider. Some
Yeah.
men see themselves as providers, whether you
Hmm.
like it or not. That is their default position, which, my God,
Right.
that's fantastic. Let's
Yeah.
respect, let's honor that, right? There
Yeah.
are others who see themselves as 50-50 parties. Is your man a
Yes.
50-50 person? And
Mm.
are those values aligned with
With
yours?
him.
Maybe
Hmm.
those are their values, maybe those are not your values. So you
Mm.
need to think about it. And I can tell you it is going to clash. Other men will tell you they want strong women. You know why? Because they don't want to become providers,
Yeah. True.
right?
Yeah.
So they want to sit back and see you run like a chook. You need to ask yourself, is that what you're going to? Because you're going to soon get tired. So you
Yeah.
really need to sit down and really think about your own individual situation. No
Mm.
competition, no comparison. I say to people, they say she's a what feminist, and I'm like, no. I believe that we live in a world where the most successful women have always got some of the most supportive partners, whether they live
Yes.
with them or not. For me,
Definitely.
I
Mm.
need to have that confidence that that other person has got my back, right? If they
Yeah.
don't have my back,
That's
then
it.
for me, that is so, so important. But
That's what
also,
you need.
absolutely. But if I'm a woman that I'm very plain with this, I don't want to change tires. I am not going to climb a tree or a pole. But
Thank you
I
so much. I used
support,
to change tires.
I have never learned. I don't even know how to check in. But if there is the other lady who
Mhm.
is keen to do that,
Mhm.
because that's a
Mhm.
life skill or whatever skill for them, absolutely, I support you and I applaud you. Absolutely go.
Mhm.
But don't say that all of us, that's what all of us have to do.
It's true.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's true. There are some things that, listen, I'm not doing either.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
I'm a
that. I,
lady,
I think
people.
I think it's communication, and like next week we're gonna go to married and unmarried men. I think it's about
Okay.
communication though, because as I mean, I speak with men, and I think I understand how they think sometimes. If we talk to them, let them know from the get go that this is what you want, and say it with absolute respect, mutually, but just calm down and talk logically. Some men are not logical. Everybody is not supposed to be
And
logical,
some women are not either.
and some women
A
are
lot
not. So
are
if
not.
you are unfortunate to go into that sort of relationship with some illogical person, then it's unfortunate. But if you're married somebody who is a man, proper man, should
Yeah.
be able to listen to you when we
Men are
communicate.
providers. It's sweet. We love it when you look after us. I love
Yeah,
it. Present, a handbag, whatever. Thank you.
handbag,
It is
you
just
know,
nice. Even if I can afford it, no, thank you. It comes from you. It's different.
it's different. It's really
It's a great
different, and that's what
feeling
we
and I
want.
cherish it.
But let me tell you, sometimes some women, we have some poverty mentality, that the man might bring this one without, we don't need that. That's not what I need. I need something else. I need, maybe discuss about the type of your love language so that the guy knows, but just take this one with all, joy, and then be able to communicate. So
The
communicate is
most
another thing
important thing is the thought. That person has thought.
that
If
counts. Yeah,
your friends have, they think about you and they get you a gift on your birthday or they take you out for dinner, the thought is the most important thing.
yeah.
And then they get out of their way, they go and source it for you. You should be grateful.
You should be grateful. You really should be grateful. I'm grateful. But there's a message that I was trying to bring up. I think
Yeah,
they
I
were,
saw it, but I was talking, so I could not read the
yeah,
details
I
of it.
want, oh, my phone is shaking, and my mouse. What happened to my mouse?
Okay. Not many
I need
women
to
of
have control.
African persuasion will have had the courage and boldness to step out and step up like you did 24 years ago. I guess it's 25 years ago, but I was 24 at the
She
time.
was
I first
24.
slept when I was 20 years and my daughter was 6 months old. It's
Mm.
my hope that your story encourages some women today, seeing how much success, grace, and restoration have followed your decision since then. My question is, what gave you the courage and conviction to believe that life could be better on the other
Because
side,
it could go
even
either
in the
way.
face of stigma, cultural expectations, and societal pressure that often came with divorce? Oh my God, this is a great, great one, Pastor Bumi.
You,
I
you,
love
you
this.
can see him
Okay,
putting his hands on his cheek, and then
I'm loving that question. First, can I just say this? The conviction was I was absolutely sure that this was the wrong place I was in because I knew better. I had grown up and I had seen better. I was surrounded by better. I came from a good family, come from two big families, good family. And I knew how I was raised. I was one of those girls who sent to private school, well raised, very mannered, very structured. So, and I immediately saw chaos. So it was very easy for me to pick out and say, hey, this, I was young, but I was very intelligent, highly intelligent, but the support of my family. Guys,
I thought
your
so. I
daughters
believe
in
so.
particular, they need you.
Mm.
My father and anybody who knows me, I love my mom. Mama, I love you. But everybody who knows me knows my relationship with my father.
Yeah,
You
his
just need to
daddy.
meet the two of us or have met the two of us for an hour to know that the bond that we share was beyond just being father and daughter. It was special. And my father made the daughters always feel so, so special. Absolutely so special. So to the point that I knew that, or I knew what or how I should be treated. And
Mm.
I did not expect half of that or 50% of how I was treated by my father, right? But
Mm.
going
Mm.
beyond below 5%, no, that's not good
Mm.
enough. So it was so
Mm.
obvious, but having the support of my family. But another important thing is that I had my own I had my own financial freedom in terms of I moved by myself to two
Oh,
countries on my
next
own,
month,
and
no,
that person was following me, so literally not even knowing. So when you keep paying for at that young age, you're the one supporting a male who's supposed to be your provider. You soon realize very, very quickly that
that
you
you are
know
the
what,
one, you're the
that
one
this
carrying this guy.
yeah, so when you turn around, a lot of the people here, and I say this to you ladies, the men come, they hear, they settle, they go bring the woman. I don't know that story. I don't have that type of story. I've never had that type of a story.
You brought
So
the man.
exactly right.
Mm.
Pay the tickets and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when
Mm.
somebody refuses to stay for years, you have to then take a step and say, how long are you going to be in that situation? Because it's not going to change. And
Mm.
again, when you have wise parents, you can't go wrong. Ask
Mm.
me.
Mm. Yeah, I know. Thank God for your family. You got a yeah, your story. it's going to be another time. It's going to be a whole month for Professor Mimi's story. Whole month, seriously, because there are a few things that was coming to my mind. There's another message that is come up. My mouse is playing up, Lord. I don't want it to exit anything. The next message,
But
and I'm
also,
like,
another, while you're looking for the message, one of the things was I was never concerned about, oh, material stuff. Oh, what am I going to get if I took nothing? And anybody who knows, not a needle, not, it was like, I have nothing here. Okay, see you later. Give you
mm.
this. If anything, I gave. And I'm like, I thought that was going to be very amicable, but it wasn't because, when you've been looked after for years by a lady, you really want that, right?
That is terrible, and that is not the type of men we want. That's so not
Yeah.
manly. That's so not
Yeah. And I was
manly. What's
raised, I saw how my father, and unfortunately, when 2 days before my father died at the age of 74, 10 years ago, no, 11 years ago, my dad's last gift was a handbag to my mother 2 days before that. In
Are
his
you
70s, he was still
serious?
buying. Yes. My I, I would say 80% of my mother's clothes were bought by my father, and my father loved shopping. So
I saw I
yes, and
I saw your daddy at the
Accra,
Charleston or something before. I'm like, what's
yes,
this old man?
yep,
Yeah, your family upbringing, and yeah,
yeah,
it's true. Listen, even if you don't have family support like
yes,
Professor Mimi, you can where like wherever you find yourself, find a family and find a community.
yeah,
Because some people are not fortunate like that. Find a family, find a confident, find a family. Be honest, share with
yeah,
people, and they will help. There's a whole lot of help in Australia, by the way. Whole lot of help. If they if you're not if you're dying somewhere, literally dying, stop pretending, because pretense is even worse. When you pretend, the children, they hate the relationship the parents are in, mostly because of the pretense.
yeah.
Because they could see how both of you are lying. You're wearing a shobi to party when indeed you have not even spoken to each other in God knows when, and you pretend to be. Pretense is dangerous. So please be
Just let
mindful.
the children know that you know what you're living together, but you're really not together. They
Yeah,
respect that. They
yeah.
understand because they can see that you're happier apart, but then you're sharing the space because you want to make sure that you do the communal things. Have that conversation. We
Mm,
are in the 21st century.
yeah.
People are still living in the time capsule that they left 20, 30 years ago or 40 years ago. Then you
Mm,
go back to your home country, you realize that you are a time capsule. I think
mm.
everybody knows what a time capsule is. Write
It's
everything, put it together, either dig a hole and put it, and your memory remain the time capsule because people
it's
don't go back often enough to interact.
mm,
Probably I may have some of my own time capsules because I travel, but I have not been in that environment where in Cameroon for 20 how long? I left 25 years ago, but I went to boarding school before I was 11. So when you think
wow.
about that, so from the first 10 years of my life, I had that solid connection, but from after the age of 10, really, I have really not lived in that environment. So there is a lot that I continuously learn, and that is why I'm working so hard, not just for me to stay connected, but for my children to
Mm,
be connected, especially my youngest, because he lives in Australia. He's got his white family in Australia and all of that. But and I'm going to say this is a bit personal, but a few days ago we had to go to a wedding over the weekend, and he was like, "Oh, he's gonna put." He asked me, "What is the dress code?" And I
code.
said, "It was formal or cultural." And initially, he was all about wearing a suit and all of that. And later on, he came and said, "Oh, is it okay if I wear my Cameroonian African wear with a pantsuit and all that?" I'm like,
Wow.
I'm not sure because I want to put it. He walked me through the whole thing. Then I turned around and said, absolutely, absolutely fabulous. Do just that. That is what you should
Oh,
be doing. And it was beautiful because this is him coming, a teenager, a young teenager, lower age teenager, not upper end, coming to terms with his own identity,
that's
knowing
right.
who he
But
is,
it's
appreciating the
balanced.
culture.
Amazing.
But you need to impart that in them from a very young age, right?
Mhm.
I see some children, oh, they don't want to eat African food because it's this. My God, I don't blame the
Oh
child,
my
I blame
gosh.
the parents.
It's the I'm sorry, it's the same fake life that we're living that it's what is disturbing our children too when they say they don't. Depends on the presentation. How did you present it to them? Are you eating it yourself or are you faking stuff? That's all I've got. If that's all I've got, that's all I've got. If I'm eating African food, you're eating African food, honey. The only thing is the chili might be too much. Is that you? And looks like
Oh,
Chris.
sorry, he can't see us, but he's in his cultural way and I'm in my other formal way. That was perfect.
You see, very comfortable. But we need to teach them to be balanced. When they balance growing up, they'll be balanced in relationship, they'll be balanced at work, they'll be balanced in the community, not confuse who they are and on whose they are. But ultimately, we're gonna round up. For me, I think source your spirituality, like Professor Mimi said. I call
Yeah.
it. I never even thought about that word. I always say find your God. Okay, spirituality it is. Find whoever that is and communicate. If that your spiritual head is not helping you, then you need to outsource another one. But it needs to be helping you. You need to have that source, that shield that you're covered somehow, somewhere. But we're gonna have to call it a day. It's supposed to be half an hour, but we always enjoy uh, two of us conversing, and we hope. I mean, if you've got also a solution, or if you're being free as well in an entanglement like that, let us know how you do it because we're trying to discuss this to help each other, especially for our children and the unborn one. What sort of generation are we raising? Are we raising disgruntled children? Are we raising sad children, for lack of better language? What with no love? What sort of children are you raising? You don't give them love, you don't show them love, but you want them to have love. Where are they going to get it from? But anyway, I'm going to have
Let
to
me, yeah,
go
let me
ahead.
add a statement just to say to people, stop being materialistic. I think that is one of the killers.
You said
Be
that a few
grateful,
times.
be appreciative of the other person. If the material things come, fantastic, but that should not be the foundation of your relationship. Because if that is the foundation, you'll be very disappointed. You should cherish somebody as that individual, as that person. And for me, I'd rather not want to know a lot about you or whatever is behind you. I want to know you first as an individual because that is what is going to keep you people together. Whether again you live together or somebody is God knows how many thousand miles away, cherish the other party, as the person first, the person, the human.
Great advice. That is it. We're going to have to call it a day here. Thank you so much. We hope you've been blessed. We have been blessed. We see you again next week, same time.
See you all. See you all. Send your
I
same here.
love, 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 love it. Just as well, this